Hey guys, first Regardsman here. Today I want to talk about some major info we have on the upcoming anniversary patch 15 for Space Marine 2, and leaks we have for a new enemy faction in the upcoming Chaos Siege mode, the Space Wolves Champion Pack, and the new one-handed Thunderhammer. Now, we just got the public test server for patch 14 released earlier this week, and it will be ongoing until July 15th, but this PTS has given us a ton of data mines for upcoming content in patch 15 and beyond. Patch 14 is also set to be the final patch of year 2, and the amount of content coming in this patch is significantly less than the Purgation and Tech Marine update, but we'll still be getting some new heroics and the new Terminator boss. I will also be streaming and covering all the stuff in patch 14 and the upcoming patch 15, so if you want to watch me live when that drops for the new content and builds, you can find me on Twitch, the link in the description, or here on YouTube on this channel. As far as the new data mines are concerned, the first thing I want to talk about here is the new Space Wolf Champion skin for the Bulwark class. Now, this was previously revealed to be coming to us by Saber in the June community update, and it's supposed to launch during patch 15 with the second anniversary patch, but now beyond just confirmation of the new champion skin, we also have data mined images for what this will actually look like, and even though this is not a perfect image of the new model, we can finally rest easy knowing that the Bulwark will at long last have a cape. Capes for Bulwark have been requested for ages by the community, and we can also see that the helmet will have a similar look to the previous Wolfguard helmet heroic option we got in patch 13, just this time around it will also be receiving a bionic eye attachment. There will also be a new Iron Halo attachment for the Space Wolves, and both this and what I assume will be a wolf pelt cape of some kind, as I don't think this model is entirely finished, and it should be transferable to other classes regardless. We've already seen with the public test server for patch 14 that the new Salamander's Heavy Champion has a burning Iron Halo that you are able to swap around between classes like Tactical and Bulwark in the Wargear customization. Saber also previously said there will be a Wolfguard round shield with this champion pack as well, so even though we can't see that here, that will be coming with this new DLC as a shield option. And tinfoil hat time, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a weapon skin for the new one-handed Thunderhammer with this champion skin as well, but I'll get more into why I think that in a bit. But you guys let me know what you guys think about the new champion skin leaks. Was this the kind of Space Wolf champion set you wanted, or did you prefer the previous Vanguard one? Personally, I think the Bulwark's outfits just look better than 90% of the classes in this game anyways, and I was not a huge fan of the previous Vanguard champion because the Wolfguard helmet just kind of looked a little goofy to me, or just like the normal wolf helmet, and Phobos in general is not my preferred armor type for the Primaris Marines, and I am a much bigger fan of the Mark X Tacticus and Gravis sets. I've also previously mentioned that I really want a round shield in this game, and we are finally getting that, so this might be my favorite champion pack in the entire game. And fingers crossed, I really hope we get a heroic power axe variant for patch 15 that gives us a frost axe option, since Saber did say they want to add in more heroic status effects in the future. Now, something else players have also been requesting is additional Wargear customization. Patch 13 gave us the first part of the Wargear update that brought us capes and Iron Halos to classes, and patch 14 is set to give us the final section of the Wargear update, and we'll be bringing things like cloaks and tabards to classes as well. But on top of an expansion for the cloaks and tabards, there were also data mines for a third Wargear slot that will probably be coming in patch 15. Now, this could mean a couple things, and the most likely one is that we'll finally be able to equip tabards and capes simultaneously, since at the moment you are limited in choosing between one or the other. And the other thing is that we'll probably be getting a proper Wargear cape selection for the Bulwark class, which has been a highly requested feature since patch 13 dropped. We already see them moving in that direction with the new Space Wolves champion. But whether this is bringing capes to the Bulwark or just tabard selection of capes on existing classes, I'm sure most of you guys in the Space Marine 2 community will be happy we are getting a third slot. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is related to the brand new melee weapon coming in year 3. Saber gave us a surprise reveal during the June community update last month that we will be getting a one-handed Thunderhammer. They did not give us an exact date as to when this weapon will actually be coming out, but I suspect it'll be released with patch 15 in September, since last year we got the power axe with patch 10. And them dropping a brand new melee weapon with the second anniversary patch just makes a lot of sense, since melee weapons are a huge draw for the community. Now, a lot of players are also confused where the previously mentioned greatsword is, but Saber said they had a change of plans and priorities, so the one-handed Thunderhammer will be coming next instead. And I also suspect that if it does drop with patch 15, we'll also be getting a Space Wolf champion skin for it, or maybe just give us a champion skin to the power sword, since we got a Black Templar power sword skin last year as well. Some players also think this weapon will be coming with the new class, but I'm pretty sure the main focus for that as a signature weapon is the Absolver pistol, and they'll probably be coming out with a separate new melee for it, just like we had with the Tech Marine in patch 12. But regardless of when this actually comes out, we did get some data mines on the moveset of this new weapon, and more importantly, we can actually see the animations that will be attached to this one, just like we had with the new heroic Thunder Axes coming in patch 14, and it seems like this weapon will potentially have stance changes just like the power sword, or at the very least a distinct charge attack where you temporarily buff yourself or the weapon. There are things in the data mines here for stance light and stance heavy, and things like like that, so we might see a more complicated weapon than people were expecting initially. But I think that's not all surprising, since the Power Axe and Omniscient Axe both have unique mechanics that make them feel very much like post-launch weapons, and I wouldn't be shocked if the one-handed Thunderhammer has a more interesting perk tree than any other weapon we've seen so far. But when it comes to a greatsword in the future, guys, I would not expect this weapon unless we end up getting something like a Justiciar in year 3 as the next class. They've already talked about the Absolver Pistol, which is a signature weapon of the Apothecary, Justiciar, and Chaplain, and they even had a little hush emoji in the community update, which is either them directly trolling or a massive hint at the next class. Either way, I still expect the new Thunderhammer will be out in patch 15, but something else that is 100% confirmed in patch 15 is the Chaos Siege spin-off mode. There were rumors about this for ages in the community. We had prior data mines of unique Chaos voice lines for stim injections, and since there are no stims in the PvP mode, this had a lot of people raising their eyebrows. There were also leaks for things like Chaos weapons that we had never seen before in the PvP, and the previous Space Marine game had its own Extermination Horde mode that saw a Chaos addition towards the end of its life cycle. So a lot of players, myself included, started to speculate that we would in fact see a Chaos Siege mode addition, and in the June community update, Saber came out directly and said this will be added to the game in year 3. Saber previously said that Chaos in Operations was a hard no from Games Workshop, so players were pretty hesitant about the idea of them suddenly adding Chaos to the Siege mode, but my thoughts on this were always that the Siege mode is a far more arcade-like game mode in the first place. There's no real story here. After patch 13, the addition of atonements and blessings and a roguelite mechanic, it is more arcadey than ever. So I figured if we were ever going to get to see playable Chaos Astartes as something in Space Marine 2, it would be with a Siege mode game mode. Now, something I was not expecting was that it would be an entirely new spin-off mode, and more importantly, the new data mines we got for this mode make it sound even more substantial than I originally thought. The data mines show that in the Chaos Siege mode, there will be a friendly Hellbrood summon, which brings up a ton of interesting questions, because I assume that we would simply be fighting the Tyranids and Thousand Suns, as contrary to what some people believe, not all heretic legions like each other, and infighting amongst Chaos warbands is arguably more common than them fighting against the Imperium. And I have to wonder if this Hellbrood summon will have the standard Thousand Suns skin, or maybe they'll give us an entirely new design for a different Chaos Legion, because we will most likely have full access to the Heretic Astartes customization already available to the PvP mode. Last year with patch 10, we saw the addition of champion skins for Chaos that PvE players have been dying to use, and we also know the PvP will have accolade support for the PvE mode in patch 14. So it seems like Saber is trying to implement as much cross progression as possible, and this will probably extend to the PvP Chaos armor sets, where you should be able to earn them in the PvP and also earn them in the new Chaos Siege mode, and any unlocks you already have should be swapped between game modes. This on top of the accolades grind in PvP might boost Eternal War player counts temporarily, but I really don't expect PvP to have a serious resurgence unless they add substantial content to it beyond just cosmetic unlocks you can earn in PvE. Something that is a substantial addition though, and the data mine I want to talk about the most, is the fact that you will be fighting Primaris Loyalist Marines in the Chaos Siege mode as a pseudo new faction. I was not expecting this at all. I really thought they were just going to toss us against Tyranids and Thousand Suns exclusively. We have data mines for executions on Primaris Marines and NPCs in-game. There are even leaked animations that show what we can expect, and some of these look absolutely brutal and should satisfy a lot of Heretic Astartes fans, as you are literally beating the shit out of Primaris Marines. Now, the real question is, how extensive will this Loyalist faction actually be? And this is where I do think players should temper their expectations. Most of this will probably be an asset flip of existing NPCs we have in game already. You can already summon Loyalist Primaris Marines in Siege mode for every single class type, and these enemy Marines will probably be pulled from that roster of NPCs and reworked a bit. The data mines also call these guys Primaris Raiders and are part of the NPC roster alongside things like Tyranids and the Thousand Suns, which does make it sound like they will be implemented as a third enemy faction in the middle of the normal Tyranid and Thousand Suns battles. That will be causing a three-way battle similar to maps like Purgation and Vox Liberatis. If you're hoping for a full Loyalist faction addition to the game mode, that is probably not going to happen. They've only added a few enemies in the game's life cycle to the main operations mode, and the idea of them adding in a fully functional faction to a spin-off game mode is incredibly unlikely. That being said, it is awesome to see that we're getting a proper Chaos versus Loyalist PvE in any fashion, and there will probably be some unique cosmetics for Chaos added in this patch, just like we saw with patch 10. Though when it comes to Chaos weapon skins, these will most likely be limited to some standard archetypes and won't be as extensive as the standard operations mode. There were also data mines for summoned reinforcements in the new Siege spin-off mode, which means cultists and other Chaos NPCs could make an appearance as friendly characters, and maybe even Heretic Astartes bots like we have with the Primaris in the normal Siege mode. My prediction for the Chaos Siege mode is that we will just be plopped into Thousand Suns and Tyranid Warfare with a modest assortment of reskinned options for the normal Siege mode, and we'll have the occasional Primaris NPC squad show up as an addition to the normal factions. Let me know how this all sounds to you guys. How do you think the Primaris cards will be implemented, and were you even expecting them at all? And does the Chaos Siege mode even interest you? And if it does, what kind of Chaos Legion cosmetics would you like to see implemented into the game? Saber did previously say we would never see Emperor's Children or Thousand Suns as Chaos in PvP, and even though we got some heraldry options for these guys in the normal operations with patch 13, this will remain the same for the playable Chaos most likely. But those are all of my thoughts on the new Chaos Siege mode and data mines. I will be covering all of this on the official launch live on my Twitch and here on YouTube, so if that interests you, you can find a link to that in the description below, alongside a link to my community Discord. We'll also be seeing the release of patch 14 very soon, probably at the end of this month or early August. You can also find all the new builds and guides for the brand new boss here on this channel as usual. I also want to say a special thank you to my channel members. I cannot make content without you guys, and your support is greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye.